So you might notice that this is a slightly different camera angle. I'm trying something new today. I'm playing with one of Wesley's fancy cameras to record my videos, so it's on a tripod over my shoulder. So we're still just doing the hand action down here, but we'll see how this goes. If it seems to work, we might do this ongoing. Who knows? It's a little bit less pieced together than my current setup with my phone and a little holder guy. So we'll see how this goes. Also, the two cats are in here, so if you hear them, that's what it is. Anyway, the point of our video today is I wanted to compare the full year Hobonichi Teicho with the second half of the year Hobonichi Avec. I just got this guy in about a week ago or so, and I think this is the first year that they're doing it where you can buy just the second half of the year separately. So this is really great for people who either are looking to start halfway through the year, or, you know, in the spring edition they don't want to waste a bunch of pages, or they want a thinner book, or whatever. So I just wanted to go through and kind of compare and contrast the two books. These are both the Japanese versions. There is no English version of the Avec. So it'll be a pretty fair comparison since they're both Japanese versions, and I just wanted to go over what's the same, what's different, since I know there's not a lot of information out there yet about the Avec, and comparing it to the regular one. So starting with kind of the outsides, you can see that the Avec is a different color. The Avec came in two colors. The first half of the year was one color and the second half is this other color. It's kind of a khaki, greeny, kind of weird color. I think the first half of the year was more of a yellowy color, if I remember right, compared to the full year Hobonichi, which is kind of cream. And this one also has a contrasting spine on it, which I think makes it look really snazzy and cool. Most people keep them in covers so you never see the front and back of it anyway, but I like it. It's also much thinner. You can see that it's about half the thickness. Let's see if I can get them lined up side by side. It's about half the thickness of the full year, which makes sense because it covers about half the year. It's otherwise, they are exactly the same size. They're A6 size, so roughly 4x6. But yeah, the Avec is much thinner. So this is great for people who just want something lighter weight, or people who do a lot of scrapbooking, glue a lot of stuff into their book, and their book gets really fat, and they want something that's not going to get so bulky. One of the cool features of the Hobonichi is that it lays flat. It opens really flat. You can even just bend it all the way back on itself. The spine is super flexible. So that's one of the great features about the full year one. The Avec does the same thing. It opens super flat. You can still bend it back on itself. So it's going to have no problems if you do want to fill this up, you know, with scrapbooking stuff and make the book really fat. It's going to have no problems compensating that. The covers appear to be basically the same material. They're about the same rigidity, and they feel the same. So that's great. I have no idea how durable these covers are without the cover, the extra cover on them. I think I'm going to be using this Avec without a cover for a little while, so I will kind of update in a little while how the cover is wearing, just being thrown in my bag and taken all over the place. I suspect that it's going to hold up pretty well. I do eventually plan to get a cover for it if I decide to stick with the Avec size, and I'll talk more about that at a later date probably. So now I'm going to kind of just go through them, flip through the two of them, and kind of show the different sections and how they compare to each other. This guy I haven't really started yet because it's not July. This Hobonichi I had bought in, you know, for 2015. I started using it and then realized I kind of didn't like the way that I was using it, and I had done this thing in it. I think I talked about this in a different video or something, where I went and wrote all these journal prompts in it, and now I'm changing the way that I want to use my Hobonichi, so these are kind of causing a problem, which is why I wound up getting the Avec. So you will see some things written in here like this, but just kind of ignore that. I don't have any more blank daily pages in here, and I might skip some pages in here because I do have some personal things written on them, so just bear with me. Anyway, as we open them up, they have the same sort of cream end papers on them, and as we go through again, you can see they both have the same sort of branding here. This guy says Avec, but nothing super special. Then we flip another page, we get to the yearly calendars. and they are the same in both of them, pretty much exactly the same. You have your full year of 2015 and 2016. 2015 on the left, 2016 on the right, so those look the same. Then you have your kind of year at a glance, which I still don't really know what I'm going to use it for. In this one I was using it to record weather for each day. This one I think I'm going to use it to record spending, but we'll kind of see. I might change it up. I might record or track some habits. But anyway, they're basically the same. This one starts with July. This is the Avec on the left. The Avec will always be on the left for the rest of the video. So it starts July and goes through, this is January of 2016. So it goes all the way through to June of 2016 for these kind of month at a glance, year at a glance, whatever pages, which I believe, whereas the regular Hobonichi only goes through March. So that's kind of cool. This one does afford a little bit more forward planning. And I believe that the Avec for the first half of the year also kind of went into the second half for some of these forward planning pages. So that way, like you had monthly calendars past the end of the book, so that way you could forward plan a little bit and not miss out on too much. So then we get into the monthly pages. Let me go ahead and flip forward to July just so they look the same. Doop, doop, doop. The monthly pages, again, pretty much identical. I don't see any differences between the two. It's your basic kind of month. You have your little sidebar. Sundays are highlighted in red. Japanese holidays are highlighted in red because this is the Japanese version. The numbers are normal. The days of the week are in English as well as Japanese. Yeah, that's that. They look pretty much identical. The Avec goes all the way through the end of the year for the months. And then it continues, so this is January of 2016 now. It continues all the way to March of 2016 versus the full year, which is, okay, so that's just as far as the full year also goes. So they go to the same place in terms of into 2016 for these monthly pages. So then I'm going to skip past some stuff in this guy and move forward to my daily pages. Just because it doesn't make sense to show pages that have no relevance. So now in the Avec on the left, so this is March of 2016, you have one kind of blank gridded page and then you start into July 1st. So there's no 2 days per page or anything leading up to this. It's expected that you've had June and everything in the previous volume of your Avec. Now you're starting this volume. So you basically kind of lose everything before July 1st, which could be a problem if you, had done a lot of stuff that needs to be carried over. I think if I was recording a lot of stuff that needed to be carried over, I would get one of those kind of like full page, like post-it things and just have that stuck here for previous stuff. Just a thought. Maybe someone who's actually used the first half can tell us how they're going to do that, but that's how I would do it. So then if you look at the daily pages, so again, the Avec is here on the left, the regular is on the right. You can see that they're the same color. I actually find the colors in this Avec to be slightly brighter than in the regular Hobonichi, but that could just be me, or it kind of looks like it's in the realm of normal variances. But anyway, so you have your days, you still have your moon cycle, your day of the week, all of that. You still have your kind of timetable on the left side, the left side of the page here. You still have your little check boxes up at the top, all of that. The quotes at the bottom are, as far as I can tell, exactly the same. You still have your little calendar here at the bottom, and all of that is exactly the same. So as far as the daily pages, they look to be identical. So we'll go ahead and skip past the rest of the daily pages to the end of December. Okay, so here's December 31st in the Avec. Let's find December 31st in the regular one. Okay, so then we get to the end of December, and then you hit your gridded pages. I had been using my gridded pages in the regular Hobonichi to test different inks. So in the Avec you have 1, 2, 3, like 3 full sheets, like front and back of these gridded pages, and then another half sheet. Versus in the regular one, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and a half. So 3.5 gridded sheets in the back of the Avec versus 7.5 in the back of the regular one. Then you flip over to the next page. So, okay, I don't want to screw anything up. Okay, Avec's still on the left, regular on the right. So in the regular Hobonichi, you have 2 pages of this timetable versus in the Avec, you only have 1, which kind of makes sense because if you think about, like, if you were going to use this for school or something to write down classes, this one would have basically 2 semesters worth. You know, you'd have spring semester, fall semester, versus this one only has to cover fall semester. So it totally makes sense to only have 1 timetable in a book that only covers half the year. So then on the other side of the page with the timetable, in the Avec, you have the graph paper. And then you have the graph paper kind of as you flip over in the regular one. Graph paper looks pretty much exactly the same. Then you have your anniversaries page in both the regular one and the Avec. You have the same 8 slots. Then in the Avec, you go on to your favorites. And in the regular, you have your favorites. This is kind of a bummer in that in the Avec you only have space for 10 things versus in the regular you have space for 20. But again, I'm assuming that you also have a sheet just like this in the first half of the year one. So you would have been able to record a bunch of other stuff in that one as well. So then oh, no, there's a lot more. Okay. So it's not 20 in this one, it's 40 because I didn't realize you had 4 pages worth of that. So that is kind of a bummer that you don't have as much room for favorites. Then you get to the gifts. Each of these has 1 page for gifts saying, I don't know what the symbols along the top are, but my guess is that it's like a date, to or from, who, what, price, I don't know. But anyway, gifts page. And then you have a bunch of like reference pages that look to be identical. I can't read any Japanese, so it's all Greek to me. But yeah, so you have all these reference pages, then you have the address pages, which both of them give you space for 6 addresses. You have your remember this. Hello again! So it turns out, I don't know how to use the camera that we're using, and we didn't know that there was an automatic setting that cut me off after a certain amount of time, so hopefully that's fixed. We'll see. This also means that I have to now learn how to edit my videos, boo, since I've been pretty good at not having to do that, so who knows, maybe this is the start of a new era. Anyway, it's also raining now, so the light has changed, but anyway, I think I got cut off somewhere when I was in the back. I think I was right around the address page, maybe? I just watched the clip and I of course forgot. Anyway, I think I was right around the address page. So basically it's all the same from there. Most of this back stuff is all the same. Okay, right, so we have our address page, which has room for 6 people. We have this kind of remember this gridded page that has whatever. There's this kind of weird calendar thing, a space for personal information, some info about the Hobonichi store and stuff, then you have your back cover, and then you're done with the book. So yeah, so that's the 2 of them compared to each other. Originally, when I first kind of got the Avec, I thought I wasn't going to like it very much because it seemed so thin and light. Like those of you who have the original, it just, like you kind of know this, it just feels kind of like the right size in your hand. You know, it's got a good heft without being too big. It's, you know, it feels really solid, right? So when I got this guy, I was like, this is too small. I don't like that very much. But then as I've kind of been holding it, I've been kind of getting more used to it, and I've decided I kind of want to get a leather cover for it because I had the rose poudre or whatever, like the Hobonichi cover for this guy, and I did a review video on it, and I can link to that down below so you can go ahead and take a look at that if you want to. I just never really loved that. It's not really my style. Part of it I think is because it's a little bit too bright and garish for me to use every day. But even a black one, I don't really love the butterfly clasps on it, you know, the clasps that hold the book together. So it's just not really my thing. So what I'm thinking I'm gonna do is probably get a leather cover for this guy if I decide that I, like using this one, because sure, it's thin now, but I think once I add, a leather cover to it, that'll definitely make it much more solid, give it some more bulk, whereas it might bulk up this one a little bit too much. This one, it would give just the right amount of heft, then it would make it feel, really good in my hand. So I'm looking at a leather cover from One Star Leather Goods, which I've never ordered anything from him before, but I've only heard really good things. So if you have one of his covers, let me know what you think of it. I'm specifically looking at kind of the build your own one where it's the Chrome XL outside and the bridal leather inside. So let me know if you have one of those. I'd be curious to hear kind of what people think of it. But anyway, that's kind of what I'm thinking if I get a cover for this one. But I am going to be using it kind of on its own naked for a little while because I don't really, I don't want to spend a bunch of money on a cover, because if I do get a cover for the Avec, I want it to be kind of custom fitted to the Avec, since something meant for the regular Hobonichi would be too big for the Avec. So I don't want to drop that kind of cash if I decide, oh, no, I think I really do want to go back to the full-size one. That's not smart. So that's kind of my plan. I'm going to use this naked for a little while, kind of see how I like it. I think it will hold up just fine since the cover seems to be fairly durable, but I will update in, maybe a month or two and let people know how it's going. I mentioned this in my last video kind of about the whole moving to Richmond thing, the update. I am planning on doing One Book July. So this is what I'm going to be using for One Book July. I think it'll be really great for that. So I can definitely update maybe in about a week or so, kind of once I've really, moved into this one and using this all the time, once, July has come and is here. I can kind of do a video on my setup for this because I'm going to be using it as a planner. You can kind of see, I wrote a little bit in here already, but you can see, I am using the timetable, I'm writing in appointments, I'm going to be using it as a planner, writing in to-dos, things like that. So I can kind of walk people through my setup, how I'm doing that, because I think, I'm not an artsy-fartsy kind of person. I think that's great. I would love to be artsy-fartsy. I would love to be, a super scrapbooky kind of person. I'm not. I just don't. And I really need this to keep my life together. I need it to stay organized as we are getting ready to move and right after we move, as I'm kind of starting a new job, all of that. I need this to keep my brain together. I don't have time to be cute. I just need it to work. So I can kind of walk people through how I'm using that. Wesley, he just got a cousin that he's going to be using as he kind of starts grad school, again, as a planner. He's not trying to be fancy with it. He's just using it as a planner. So I can maybe convince him to kind of come do a review on that, how he likes it, kind of how he's using it. And that would be, I think, cool because that's from a guy's perspective and we don't see a lot of guys using the Hobonichi. And so I think that would be really interesting. Oh, there's rain coming in my window and getting everywhere. Anyway, maybe that's a sign that it's about time to be done filming. Mostly, this isn't really review. This is more so meant to be an overview, but I really do recommend the Avec if you are looking to kind of start on a Hobonichi mid-year, or if you need another one maybe for the second half of the year, or if you're realizing that you have the regular size and it's getting too thick because you're gluing too many things in. I really recommend the Avec. It's made with all the care and attention to detail that is in the regular Hobonichi, just in a smaller size. So I think it's really great. Mine was pretty cheap. I think for the Avec and to get it shipped from Japan was only like $12 or $13. So it was decently cheap. It wasn't like a huge investment. So yeah, I totally say go for it. And like I said, I will try to get a video recorded in a week or two to kind of let you guys know how I'm doing with this, how One Book July is coming, and kind of how I'm using this as a planner. So yeah, that's all I got, and I'll see you guys later. Bye!